Good morning, gaming. Hey, welcome to dotGems session where we're going to hear about dotGems. I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves and get going right away because I'm sure you'd rather hear from them than me, but I'm glad you're all here and we're recording this for after.
Awesome.
Great. So thanks for having me. My name is Stefan Bissau. I'm one of the co-founders of EOS Nation and also now our recent dotGems NFT studio. Super happy to be here and able to, talk NFTs with everyone. Martin?
Yeah, hey everyone. Thanks again for inviting us to the DAXathon. Big fan of DAX and DAOs. My background comes from arts, but I moved quickly in the last 3-4 years into blockchain. Had the pleasure to work as a regional director Asia for EOS Nation. And since then, it's been an awesome ride. And I'm happy that we started with NFTs with the spicy rares, which were just giveaways to test out the tools from Atomic Hub. And then we started getting more into NFTs with dotGems. And we will talk more about this later, I guess.
Yes, thanks for having us. Yeah, my name is Jana Schiffer. I'm in the space for 3 years now, same time as I'm into VR and as metaverses and NFTs and blockchain are coming, more and more together. I spent my time with the team producing new stuff, having new ideas, and love decks and DAOs. I'm building in one as well. So yeah, nice to be here. Thank you.
Great. So for those who aren't as aware of who we are as dotGems and aware of what we've been up to lately, I'll give a brief history of what we've done, and then we'll be breaking some news about our upcoming releases that we haven't shared publicly yet. So we're super excited to be about that. So with dotGems, we started this summer when we saw the NFT craze just absolutely taking off. Personally, I got intrigued by the NFTs when I heard the series 1 of Garbage Pail Kids are going 10x on packs. That brings my attention. Start trading a bit, instantly get hooked on the collecting side, and then realize like, whoa, I'm in real deep, and it's only been a few weeks. And then I just wanted to get more involved. I saw the positivity in the space. It was really nice, especially, during some of the lockdowns in 2020. That was a real bright spot for me that year. And, I just wanted to get more involved. So then we started, like Martin said, creating some promotional NFTs to increase social media engagement. So we weren't selling these, we were giving these away to people who would interact with our videos, with our retweets, etc. And it was really, really popular. We did give away some NFT prizes at the end of the season for everyone who collected these spicy rares along the way. And then at the same time, we heard of an artist that wanted to publish a comic book, but didn't really have a distribution method. And he was talking about this with his friend, which is one of our EOS Nation ambassadors in Vancouver, Brian. And then Brian had the idea of potentially turning that comic book into an NFT release. So then we started working on that this summer. We released the first episode in October, Van City Outbreak, episode 1. It was a nice success. It was our first time releasing, a real series. The distribution method worked out. We did an airdrop model using the fantastic tool from Bounty Block. Shout out to Dimitri and their team. They basically enabled us to start this adventure with that airdrop tool, because as many of you in the space know, the pack tech, in order to release a pack through Atomic Hub, that's quite costly, and that was basically going to break our budget for our first release. So that wasn't really an option for us. So that airdrop tool and now allowed us to innovate a bit in the distribution method, and the community reacted well. It was a successful first launch. And then we also launched the second episode in January, and then we saw our sales, 3 or 4x what we did previously. And that's when I knew there was a moment when the sale went live, and then we sold as many packs as we did the previous round in 1 second. That's when I was like, oh yeah, there we go. dotGems, people like what we're doing. They're into it. This is going places. So I've been super excited ever since. And one of our focuses at dotGems is really to innovate. So we want to onboard artists onto the blockchain, show them new ways to publish their content, new immersive, innovative ways. And EOS.io blockchains like Wax and EOS really allow us to just be as creative as we want and just explore all these ideas that we've not seen before, right? So for example, during our Van City outbreak, we had a human versus zombies NFT battle, smart contract battle at the end of episode 2. And people were sending in their zombie characters and their human characters. We had weapons where you boost up your humans, try to get them to fight the zombies. Unfortunately, the zombies won the fight. They just overpowered the humans. Over 10 days, we had 10 fights. And then we awarded our collector's edition piece to the people who earned the most kills in that fight. So as a way to add utility to our NFTs, add some fun game dynamic, add in more immersive experience where this is not just a comic book release that you get to read on, it's a PDF format. You also get to collect the very nice art pieces, various NFTs, and then you get to interact in that game, the game battle. And then the final touch for that release was our VR showroom that Martin built in CryptoVoxels. So we've been busy buying some land, virtual land in a few of these metaverses, because while NFTs are great, we were thinking like, what's the next level? What's the evolution? And it was clear to us that metaverses was the evolution where NFTs are going. So that's where we've been trying to position ourselves. So that's what we did on Wax leading up to now. And now we're turning our focus to EOS. EOS NFTs hasn't been much action there. I've talked to some projects that have launched, teams that are very familiar with both EOS and Wax because they're both built on the EOS.io technology. So it's very easy to build on either of them. And then they were always kind of choosing Wax because the NFT community is obviously very big already, and there's lots of excitement there. But there's also a lot of demand where people want to launch on Wax, but they're kind of afraid on EOS. So anyways, point is we're focusing on EOS now. We've got 2 releases coming up and more projects planned as well after that. So I'll hand it over to Martin, and Martin can talk about some of these EOS releases that are coming up.
Okay, great introduction. Thanks. So for the first release that we're gonna drop on EOS, we collaborated with GBK, Jill, who was involved already since a long time in the EOS community, already since mainnet launch, and he designed this super awesome tetrahedrons. He positioned them in space, or he positioned them in nature, or in the clouds, and all these images. And I saw them floating around, and we wanted to populate the EOS Atomic Hub first with some artists that are already in the space and are kind of like related to the EOS community. So I talked to him a little bit in the background, and while I had this idea, I wanted to, he would be very lonely as the only artist on Atomic Hub selling his artwork. So I came up with an idea: how can we get more artists involved? How can we make creativity on EOS? It starts with the creatives. It starts with the artists. They need to have this as a platform and to showcase their art. So I came up with an idea to unfold the tetrahedron into a 2D canvas, and we handed it out to artists and said, hey, you do whatever you want. This is your canvas. And we have Jana on our team, our Blender render wizard, he can turn these like 2D images into 3D moving objects, and later on they can also be like, once the metaverses are there where we want them to be, people can import them as an object, 3D object in the metaverses, and all this magic that's about to come. But we wanted to start this, right? We wanted to show what EOS can do, and also come up with an interesting model that the artists that are currently, most of the creatives, let's be honest, they are either on Wax or they are on Ethereum, right? Because that's where the liquidity is, that's where the market is. We wanted to invite them to come over to EOS, and therefore reached out really like across the scene with all the NFT artists. And part of what we're doing with this first drop, the EOS fan art drop, is the working title. We come up with a better title in the future, I guess. But that's how the whole program ran under the EOS fan art challenge. So we have like really impressive designs came in. We like the deadline was yesterday, and we just like before this call went through the designs, and we are amazed and super excited about what the community brought to us. And what we're doing right now with this is not just we give them exposure for their art. We also integrate them in the creative community. So we create an EOS account for each of them. We own the dotGems and the dotGem account, and we hand over custom-made accounts for them. And they all get the Mint 1, and they get like a shared their share of the whole sale. So the way this works, we organize the sale, we promote it, and once the drop went live, we give every artist in their account their share NFT, which entitles them for like a lifetime of secondary sales revenues, which we're going to distribute, but it's going to be tradable. So we are thinking about like, either you want to stay on EOS, you want to continue being in this community, or you can put it up for sale. So this is a little bit what we haven't announced yet, but this is like some alpha that I'm dropping on you right now. So it's gonna be a really interesting collection, and let's hope it's
the creatives. Now, I went on Twitter last weekend, just going all over the place, messaging people, hey, look at this art challenge, submit something, you know, we're creating a diverse collection, all sorts of art is welcome. And then on Atomic Hub, you know, the secondary sales, they generate revenue for the creators. So all of this revenue is going to be distributed to the artists who participate. So then the artists get their one NFT share, and then that's going to earn them forever shares of this art challenge. So there's going to be round 2, round 3, round 4, and all of these secondary sales revenue is always going to be distributed to these NFT artist shares, right? So then the artist who joins this first art challenge, which is now closed, we're not receiving submissions anymore, and we kind of kept this secret, and we didn't really want to tell details to people. But now we're happy and excited to reveal more. So these shares, so the way the artists get paid, they basically get 3 ways they get paid. They get a percentage of the total revenue from the primary shares. They get their common mint number 1, so their piece, we're awarding them the mint number 1 pieces, and they get that artist share. So that artist share is going to be generating revenue for them every month. I don't know how much yet, maybe not so much now, but if this art challenge picks up steam and draws attention across the wider crypto NFT community, I think it has a lot of potential to generate a nice amount of volume in the future. So these artists can choose to either hold for that passive income or sell it to a speculator right away to get more of that income right now, if that's what they prefer. So it's adding more flexibility for the artists, and also allowing the collectors and speculators to get involved, and allowing them to pay the artist directly if they want to buy that share off them, right? So I think, so this is the first time we're announcing this concept. I think as we announce this, so the artists don't even know. I don't think many of the artists are on this call. They don't even know yet that this is what we're planning to do. And I think it's going to generate a lot of buzz. And our next art challenge, Martin's idea, I think it's absolutely great. We're not going to spoil it right now, but I'm super excited to see what's going to come up. Next challenge, we saw this morning what came in, over 50 submissions, really unique stuff, really, really cool. I think the community is going to love, the EOS community is going to love it as a first EOS NFT release. We'll see Atomic Hub on EOS just filled with all sorts of beautiful chestahedrons. I think it's going to be really nice. So we're excited to share more details about that with everyone in the coming weeks. But on top of that, we're also working on other projects in the background. So Jana's been working on some cool stuff as well, and we'll let her share some of these details with everyone.
Maybe Lisa, you got any questions about the EOS fan art challenge before I start?
I had one question, but you can address it after if you want. I was just curious, are you going to provide services for artists who want to launch NFTs as well, or conduct challenges for communities and things like that? But we can come back to that.
We're absolutely open to all sorts of ideas and collaborations, and our calendars in the last 2 weeks have just instantly filled up with all sorts of brands, artists, people with ideas. Oh my God, it's crazy the amount of creativity that's bubbling behind the scenes, and it should be really exciting. So definitely reach out, anyone. Although calendars getting filled up, still reach out. We'll have to talk, obviously.
Yeah. So after the EOS fan art challenge, we planned our next drop. We have a branch called Street Gems. Street Gems, as we are hip hop heads, is caring for all the artists and all the stuff created around in the street art and urban culture. And for the first drop, we gathered some VR artists, and they are painting VR graffitis, and they will do a battle, and out of the artworks we will create a complete drop. And as we are sharing the royalties with the artists, and we have some other artists coming along with the drop. I guess it's a really exciting thing. The participation for the artists is a really awesome thing in NFTs, gamification, and yeah, being able to do more just simple artwork is yeah, huge. And so I came up with the idea. I know both communities, and so it was for me clearly, as we are working with metaverses, and metaverses are absolute, yeah, great thing for the NFT space, as NFTs are the digital art of the metaverses, or are even possible to display there. Yeah, we start yeah, dropping in the beginning of May is a plan. So I'm excited.
Exactly. And like Jana mentioned, we're bringing the VR component a lot more present in this upcoming collection. And that's part of our quest and mission to always be innovating and always bringing something new for both the collectors and the content creators. And so this community that Jana's very involved in, they're very excited about NFTs. They have tons of ideas of what they'd like to do, but they're not really technically proficient in terms of blockchain. They don't really know what's possible, etc. So that's where, you know, we love collaborating with these types of artists, brainstorming with them, and then just helping them onboard them into our EOSIO communities.
Yeah, actually, the admin of the Kingspray is a simulator. The Kingspray VR group on Facebook was excited because they reached over 500 users, and yeah, he wanted to announce something, and already told them about NFTs, and they should do more artworks, and they can start minting NFTs and creating value from their work. And just 2 days later, I came into the scene, and yeah, they're really excited about being a part of the event. We're going to stream everything on our Somniums parcel. So it will be a metaverse event like you know. Yeah.
One thing you mentioned a few days ago, Jana, is that those street art communities were excited about, you know, showing their art to the blockchain communities, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, it kind of never clicked from that angle, because I'm thinking from the blockchain angle, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring these artists, we're gonna get them hooked on blockchain, and then they'll start investing in crypto, and then we're building our world. And I never thought from the angle that they're like, oh yeah, all these crazy crypto people with tons of money, they'll buy our stuff, so they're excited to come into ours. We're excited to kind of, and then so both sides are excited to share with each other. And I think the result is, like, this year NFTs is going to be absolutely insane. There's going to be all sorts of stuff going on. Hopefully we'll be bringing some unique experiences. So like Jana mentioned, you know, we've got our Somnium Space gallery that we haven't really launched yet. Jana built it. It's ready. It's waiting in mint condition in our metaverse, waiting to be explored as soon as we release it. So we'll be hosting events, you know, on our rooftop, which in the metaverse, you can look on a screen that's projecting the VR battle that's happening in some other metaverse. I don't know. I can't keep up with all the VR inception that's going on. That's more Jana's expertise. So I'm personally looking forward to see what all that comes out, because I'm not an artist. You know, I've never bought art or whatever. I never thought I'd be deep into the art scene at this point. But for me, it's been a wonderful journey, just looking at all these artist profiles all over the place, and just being exposed to all this art. And yeah, got off on a little tangent there, but yeah, just super excited about what we're working on. It's super fun, and we can't wait to share with all of you. Are we sharing screen with someone?
Yeah, I think Jana's want to show some of the things we're working on. We're talking so much, somebody needs to see.
All right, all right. We can get some visual candy for the people.
You seeing this, Lisa? You can see this too, right? It's going on the recording. Awesome.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So this is, maybe Jana can explain more what this is.
Jana, you're muted.
I don't see you talking. So basically, this is what the artist is doing in VR. You're basically nobody. You only have a hand and a palette of colors that you can spray. You have different backgrounds, different worlds where you can choose to position your graffiti. And this is basically what a lot of graffiti artists, there's a whole graffiti community that are doing their headsets on and they're doing all these amazing pieces. However, like since it's all inside their metaverse and in their community, the NFTs really allow them to render it down or to package it into an NFT and sell it and make it available for other people, right? And I think this will be introducing this medium and this art form really to a wider community of art lovers. One thing that we're trying to do with dotGems or what NFTs, what's happening right now with NFTs in general is that different communities come together. We see the traditional art world and the digital art world coming together right now. And they're talking about like, what is the value of digital objects? With Street Gems, we're collaborating with like communities from the traditional graffiti scenes that are still out in the streets and are now doing works on canvas and lived through all this like community that street culture is, that hip hop culture is, that graffiti battles are. And we bring them together with the VR graffiti crews, and they can learn from each other and knowledge. And the bond is really the NFTs. Because you can connect, you create a community. We always can see who else collected these NFTs or who is a whale of this collection and all these kind of things. It's so interesting, which these things you don't have with traditional art or giveaways or loyalty points. This interactivity is not existing. And that's what makes me so excited about NFTs, because it's really tools to build communities. And these communities, it's not top down where only we know who holds these, because we hold all the emails or whatever. Everybody knows this. Everybody can see who else trades this NFTs or owns this NFTs or collects these NFTs. And it's going to be one thing about the metaverse, what I'm really excited about, it's going to be interoperability. It's going to be like where NFTs and blockchain start to interoperate. And this is again another layer where communities get merged and come together, and it doesn't matter anymore which chains you are on necessarily.
You know, a lot of people lately have been talking about metaverses and saying, well, in the real world, but I keep getting confused if they're talking about like in the virtual world that they're building or if they're talking about on Earth. So there, in 2021, there seems to be this like meshing of the real world, whatever that means. But say, what's your Telegram for dotGems?
It's at dotgems.
Good choice. Good choice.
So keeping it simple. Yeah, just dotgems on Telegram. And then on Twitter, dotgems_. So right now, those are the two places people can join us, follow us. We'll be giving promotions, dropping free NFTs to people, and ramping up, especially leading up to our first two sales on EOS, which we're super excited about. And we hope the community appreciates what we've got cooking for them, but I really think they will.
Yeah, we will look forward to sharing that for sure. However, I have a feeling before then, a few people we know are going to contact you about getting some help with their NFT collection.
Sure, absolutely.
Those stories soon.
Yeah. It's funny, you know, like when Bitcoin broke 50,000 or 40,000, whatever, suddenly all my friends and family decided now, like for the past 4 years, Steph, I didn't care, but now all of us care in the same week, and then everyone called me, right? And kind of like the last 2 weeks kind of feels the same thing for NFTs. Like I have friends or acquaintances, you know, that I haven't talked to in years, like, hey, I've been following you on Facebook, these NFTs thing. I've got an idea. Can we chat? I was like, yeah, let's go. And oftentimes it doesn't lead anywhere, but I help them. I put them, explain to them the scene. They get to learn more. I'm like, oh, you should check into this platform or look into this community, stuff like that. And yeah, the positivity and the creativity is just so wonderful. Honestly, I've never experienced something like that in other communities. So yeah, it's been great.
I completely agree, and I keep getting those same kinds of messages, and I just keep re-forwarding my old emails that I sent to them. But from now on, I think I'm going to send them your guys' address and send them over there instead.
Awesome. So I shared two links in the chat. Shared a link to our Vancity Outbreak Crypto Voxels VR showroom. If people want to check that out, it might disappear soon and be converted into another type of showroom. So it might be your last chance to go check it out if you haven't yet. And then we're also doing right now our first drop on EOS Atomic. It's we have a publication called dotGems Monthly, where we'll be updating the community on what we're working on, upcoming releases, all that good stuff. And we're publishing the cover NFT every month. So the first one is free to grab. We've got 1,000 copies available. Last I checked, there was a few hundred left. And then, so this is a free drop. So people who are new to EOS, hey, make your account, grab your first free NFT, right? So get them from no EOS account to NFT in their own EOS account. And shout out to Wombat and Anchor for making the onboarding process to EOS much easier these days. It's literally, you can just go from nothing, no EOS, no resources, nothing, and then they cover enough resources for you to just get started. So we're really leveraging those platforms to help with our release. And yeah, so we encourage everyone to grab our first drop. So like Martin mentioned, our Evangelist series is going to be an ongoing series that you cannot buy from us. You can only earn from us, right? So when you participate in a release, perhaps you get an Evangelist drop. When you come hang out with us in a VR event, all sorts of things. But usually we won't tell you in advance that you're going to get one of these precious Evangelist gems by doing these things, right? So we want to reward people for good behavior, not because they're just farming these gems. We're doing an exception for our first one. So our first Evangelist gem is going out to everyone who's going to be holding that dotGems monthly NFT cover NFT. So if you want that first piece of the Evangelist series, here's some real alpha that's going to be worth some EOS at some point. Go grab our first drop and then hold on to it. And then this week we'll be dropping our first Evangelist gem. And then over time, people who accumulate all these Evangelist gems will earn bonus drops, maybe free drops from upcoming series. And then if you hold the whole set, we'll try to reward these people even more, right? So we're not selling these memberships like Martin mentioned. These are kind of our version of an NFT membership. Some communities sell that membership, which is a fine model. We're making people work for it, kind of, and earn it. And then yeah, so we'll be looking to reward those people who are clearly with us, participating in our events, etc. And then that's kind of our equivalent to the social token that's kind of becoming popular in in the NFT space. Social token was a bit too much for us. That's a big undertaking. So our version is kind of the Evangelist series, which is going to be like a collection of NFT memberships type of deal that we'll be looking to reward over time. So we're super excited to get minting on all these NFTs on EOS. Should be fun. Should be fun.
Anything called gem is already a good thing as far as I'm concerned, but to be adding fun to it. So gem plus fun is definite.
Exactly. So I see a comment here, someone mentioning they'll need to download for their laptop. So if you have Android, the solution with Android is Wombat. So you go to getwombat.io. If you're on Android, you download that Wombat client, and then they give you a free EOS account. They give you some resources, but they don't give you much RAM. So you may have to deposit a bit of EOS to buy a bit of RAM before you can claim your first drop. But we're working with them actually to fix this so that they might give us just a bit of extra RAM so people can just claim that first one for free with no friction. So Wombat, I got on a call with them last week. They're super excited to hear that we'll be dropping EOS NFTs. They're excited to help us with the promotions. And then, you know, the other great series that's in the works that you've all heard of, probably Crypto Finny from EOS Writer. I think what they're doing is going to be super cool as well. So we'll be publishing a bunch of chestahedrons real soon. We'll see some Crypto Finnies popping up on there as well. And then once that Atomic Hub marketplace is way more populated, more transaction, that's going to attract more attention. We're attracting all these OpenSea ETH artists into EOS with our art challenge, and then they'll now be minting their own works on Atomic Hub as well, right? Because they'll be onboarded, we'll have created their accounts for them, they'll have some EOS from the sale, they'll be ready to roll. So we should really see a nice increase in volume in terms of variety, collection, trading, volume, all that good stuff.
I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure a lot of people will be. And I'm sure you all keep us updated on all the good stories coming out of the events and artists creating their NFTs. That's awesome. Love to share that too.
Yeah, and it's happening so fast. It's happening so fast. Like when we started this project this summer, me and Martin, not everyone else on the team saw the vision of NFTs, right? And then me and Martin were just convinced. We're like, you know what? We're doing this. We're building this. It's super interesting. It's super fun. We'll do it on our own time. We just want to do this for sure, right? And then I thought we would have like, you know, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months to really like do a few series, build up. Hey, dotGems is NFT studio. We've got some releases under our belt. And then NFTs are going to go mainstream. And then we'll have big brands calling us and be like, holy shit, we need to make NFTs. How can we do this? Who can help us? And then there's not that many NFT studios out there, although I'm sure there's a lot more popping up every single day at this point. But this inflection point of like, just like, you know, we had a student that worked on one of our projects at the University of Sherbrooke for EOS Nation. And then he's, you know, connected to this big brand in Montreal. They mention NFTs. He's like, oh yeah, the team at EOS Nation, they have a studio. Okay, great. So now we're getting on a call with this huge brand next week. Tons of potential. And then every day this week, I'm like, okay, no more new calls and leads. Like there's too many leads, too many people to talk to. But then it's like, oh, but this artist is really interesting. Oh yeah, that could be really fun. Yeah, let's just talk to them a bit as well. And yeah, overall super fun and exciting. We're also got to get down to the production too side of things.
Out, so you're getting booked up and putting it on a calendar. Is that how it works?
Yeah, getting booked up. Happy when the girlfriend leaves for the weekend. That frees up 2 more days of calls. Yeah, good times. Good times.
Making NFTs.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so do you know what my girlfriend thinks NFTs stand for? No fucking time.
All right.
I thought that was pretty hilarious when she said that the other day. But when I mentioned that big brand from Montreal that wants to talk to us, she knows them. She's like, oh, really? Oh, wow. Oh, that's super cool, Steph. Congrats, blah, blah, blah. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you started with first, and I'll be interested to see it with more of your success in the future, individuals or the big brands. Because I also hear a lot of people talking about big brands, but really the individuals seem to be doing rather well with the NFTs. So,
yeah, I think what we also see in the NFT space is the opportunity to cooperate, right? With the revenue shares or with like having distributed royalties. We see this a lot right now that, for example, that the musician and the motion graphic designer collaborating to do one drop together, right? And they can do this without like a notary, a lawyer, or anything of that stuff, you know, because they just have a smart contract that distributes for lifetime their royalties in their corporations. And this stuff is going on, like, and artists wake up to these opportunities. And when we with dotGems tell them about the opportunities that they have with EOS.io NFTs, they go completely nuts, because like with the fast transactions, with the free drops, you can really build a community and have more different distribution models and revenue share models, like where it even goes to micro transactions, right? Because it's worth it.
Yeah, that the community aspect seems to really be significant too in terms of adoption. I've noticed that around us too, that the people who get the early NFTs are community members, usually of the person creating them, and then they start sharing and so on and so on. Different people might collect, different people might promote, different people might, you know, propose collaborations, but all together it's this, I think someone said earlier, rising tide. And I see you're tapping into that model too, which is, I think, a great idea. And it's really helpful because it creates engagement opportunities for the communities as well. You know, like you said, the blockchain and the artists each have their own perspective, but the same is true in the communities themselves, each one of them, right? Different people have different things they're interested in doing, but everyone can play a role and help rise.
And this rising tide of NFTs is actually going to rise all of crypto along with it. Like since I got into crypto in January 2017, you know, I've been evangelizing to friends and family. You know, at first it was Bitcoin, blockchain, decentralization. You know, what's that about? And then it became decentralized finance. What are liquidity pools? Become a market maker. What the hell, right? Explaining people that. Now it's NFTs. And with NFTs, it's so easy for people to finally visualize what I'm talking about. It's an artwork, it's a piece of content, and it's one token, and I hold it like a blockchain token. Oh, I get that. Where like if you explain a Bitcoin, it's like, no, where's my Bitcoin? Can I see it? Can I touch it? Is it in my wallet? No, it's on the Bitcoin network. What's on your wallet is your key. Like people don't understand that at all. Super complicated. Blockchain is like, poof, I get it. There's one token. Oh, because of the blockchain security stuff, you can't fuck with it. Oh, I get that. And then they're in, and then they can collect, and then they can see their blockchain tokens. And that's just, really, that's going to also lead them to buy other, okay, what's Bitcoin all about? Oh, I understand now. I can visualize Bitcoin a bit more. And so, so not only, you know, we're going to be rising the NFT space, but the whole crypto space is also going to benefit, I think, just from media exposure, these types of easy concepts to explain to people. You know, $69 million for an artwork, third largest sale ever of a living artist. Like all collectors in the world now have heard about this. All artists, all collectors, creators, they've all heard about this. And like, what? What do you mean someone spent 69 million on a JPEG? That makes no sense. And they're like, I need to understand what's the disconnect here? Where's the gap? What don't I understand, right? So all that stuff is just percolating in the background, getting people more interested, more curious, and you're just gonna unlock insane creativity, and we'll be.
Let me ask, how much do you think it's going to be collectors, and how much do you think it's going to be people like getting in and out of getting the NFTs, like getting them to sell them?
So in 2017 and 18, I was like, NFTs are gonna be a thing, guys, on the block. Like, what can you do with blockchain tech, Steph? Oh, NFTs, like people are gonna publish their NFTs. And I didn't believe that I would care about NFTs. I'm like, that's a thing that's gonna happen, but I'm not an artist. I've never really collected art, not really into collectibles, although I did collect pogs and some stamps a bit when I was younger, a bit of baseball cards, never really got into it that much. So I didn't think like 3 years ago that I would get into collecting again. And I just got hooked on wax. And then I was like, wow, this is super fun. I'm actually spending a ton of time just messaging these people, trying to trade one cog for another, and then just having a blast. And I'm like, wow, I'm super proud of this collection. I'm like, why? Not too sure, but I know I've had fun along the way and I want to keep doing it. So I think definitely we're going to see new collectors, right? So like, you know, I live in Montreal in a condo. I don't really like buying things. You need to carry them, you need to manage them. But if I can just buy a bunch of art on my Nano, well, that's a whole different story. And I'm actually enjoying doing that a lot. And I don't need to, I can just put it in my pocket and go. And I got my whole art collection with me, right? And that's something that's important to me. And turns out that was something that was stopping me from collecting art before, actually having to have the physical piece somewhere in my condo, right? So I think we're going to see a whole new wave of collectors coming into the space. And obviously the younger generations, digital items, they were born with that. There's no leap for them to do. There's just, they love it right away. So yeah.
Yeah, good. Well, any last questions from the audience or comments before we wrap up and take a quick break before the 9 o'clock Pacific, that is, noon Eastern? I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. DACSon's been amazing, and a big focus is the inspiration, and this is very inspirational. You know, hearing the story of how you all have been able to do this and how engaging it is. That's, you know, a big topic people are bringing up is how to engage people. And you're really doing a great job with that. So we're looking forward to being engaged as part of your community. So
Awesome.
Thank you all for coming. And we'll see you at the next session, hopefully.
Thanks for having us. It's been a blast. We'll talk to everyone soon again, soon enough, I'm sure.
Great.
Thanks a lot.